In this video, we will discuss about some of the questions in Apex JEE material in exercise 2 only. So, see the questions on the screen. The first question is, it is actually 8th question in the material. Two rods of length L2 and coefficient of linear expansion alpha 2 are connected freely to a third rod of length L1 of coefficient of linear expansion alpha 1 to form an isosceles triangle. So totally 3 rods were taken. The first 2 rods are having the length L2 and expansion coefficient of expansion alpha 2, and the third rod is having a length of L1 and coefficient of expansion alpha 1. Totally 3 rods were taken. With the 3 rods, they just formed the isosceles triangle, which means 2 sides are same and third side is different. So the arrangement is supported on the knife edge at the midpoint of L1. Okay, the whole arrangement is supported at the midpoint of L1 given, which is horizontal. Find the apex of isosceles triangle is to remain at a constant distance from the knife edge. So let me just draw the diagram here for the given question. For example, I will draw the diagram here. For example, these 2 rods are having same length L2, and this is the third rod of the isosceles triangle. Let me consider these 2 are having the lengths. The first 2 are having the lengths L2 and coefficients alpha 2. And this third rod is having the length L1 and coefficient alpha 1. Totally it is balanced here at the midpoint of L1, it was balanced, and they have given that apex of isosceles triangle, that means this part of the triangle, is to remain at constant distance from the knife edge. That means this particular distance should remain constant. So let me consider, of course we don't need to calculate this value, but you can just write the symbol here x. The x should remain constant. So even after heating also the value should remain same. So to get that, first of all, before heating, what is the value of x, you please try to find out. So x means, with x we can just form a right angle triangle here. Here the length is L1 by 2 here for this side of the right angle triangle, and this length will be L2. So according to Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse square equal to side square plus side square. According to that, I will write the formula here. L2 square equal to x square plus L1 by 2 whole square. But you please rewrite the same equation for x only. So x square equal to L2 square minus L1 by 2 whole square, in the sense L1 square by 4. And this is the value of x square. Okay, now come to the second part. That is, if you just supply some heat energy, and if the temperatures of the rods become some T2, that means the increase in temperature may be delta theta, for example. In such case, what will be L1 value after heating? So just you can write here, after heating, so L1 becomes, of course L1 dash, the final length we can write it as L1 dash. Initially its length is L1 into 1 plus alpha 1 into delta theta, and L2 dash equal to L2 into 1 plus alpha 2 into delta theta. Again, if you want to calculate the same length x, but here the length becomes L1 dash by 2. Here the length becomes L2 dash after heating. So by substituting the same values in Pythagoras theorem, then you will have an equation that L2 dash square is equal to, x remains constant only, they are given. So x square plus L1 by 2, of course L1 dash by 2 whole square. Again, if you write the equation for x here, x square is equal to L2 dash square minus L1 dash by 2, of course, whole square. By substituting the values of L2 dash and L1 dash from the general equations here, then you can write what is L2 dash square? That is nothing but L2 into 1 plus alpha 2 delta theta whole square minus 1 by 4. 1 by 2 whole square 1 by 4. In place of L1 dash square, we can write L1 square into 1 plus alpha 2 delta theta whole square. But here, we can write L2 square into, so already explained in the regular class that if 1 plus x whole power n is there, and if x is very much small, then by neglecting the higher order terms, you can just write it is 1 plus nx. That means in the same way here we can write it as 1 plus. Since alpha values are very much less, they are in terms of 10 in the order of 10 power minus 5, minus 6 like that. Hence we can write 1 plus nx form it. Then it will be 1 plus 2 alpha 2 delta theta minus L1 square by 4 into 1 plus, the same rule if I apply here, 2 alpha 1 delta theta. Okay, this is the value for x after heating, x square. So before heating and after heating, x should remain same, so that you have to equate the two equations what we got before heating and after heating for x. So by equating them, you will get here, and I will rub this part and we'll go to the next part now. Okay. Now, by equating both of them, before heating, the equation we got is L2 square minus L1 square by 4 for x square. And after heating for x square, just we got here L2 square plus L2 square into 2 alpha delta theta. Of course it is 2 alpha 2 delta theta minus L1 square by 4 minus L1 square by 4 into 2 alpha 1 delta theta. So L2 square and L2 square, if L2 square and minus L1 square by 4, it comes to the right side, then both of these will get cancelled. So finally you will have here only 0 equal to 2 L2 square alpha 2 delta theta minus L1 square by 4 2 alpha 1 delta theta. But of course, if the common factor get cancelled, then finally you will have L2 square alpha 2 equal to L1 square by 4 alpha 1. So finally you have to get the value for L1 by L2. So L1 square by L2 square equal to 4 alpha 2 by alpha 1, and finally the answer L1 by L2 by taking square root on both sides. L1 by L2 is equal to 2 root over alpha 2 by alpha 1. So this is the final formula. Finally, the answer is L1 by L2 equal to the relation L1 by L2 equal to 2 root over alpha 2 by alpha 1 for x remain constant. So this is the solution for the question number 8. Now come to the question number 9 now. Now question number 9. See the question number 9. An iron rod of length 50 centimeters is joined at an end to an aluminum rod of length 100 centimeters. So two rods were combined here. A 50 centimeters rod is joined to 100 centimeters of aluminum rod. All measurements refer to 20 degrees Celsius. Initially the temperature was given 20 degrees Celsius. These measurements are given for 20 degrees Celsius. The coefficient of linear expansion for iron and aluminum are 12 into 10 power minus 6 and 24 into 10 power minus 6 per degree Celsius respectively. Find the average coefficient of composite system. We are asking the average value of alpha for the combined system given. Okay. Now, in this particular case, what are the two rods given? Iron rod and aluminum rod, and for them the initial lengths given, initial temperature given, and also temperature coefficients are given. So the higher temperature we can take any temperature we can consider. But for my convenience, I consider the higher temperature is 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, since alpha is there, so we can take any temperature we can consider now. So first of all, I will solve the question for iron rod. For iron, if I consider, of course, initial length given, initial temperature given, final temperature I considered 100 degrees Celsius, and alpha value given. Okay, according to this, the final length L2 is equal to, what is the general formula for L2? L1 into 1 plus alpha delta theta. So this is equal to L1 for iron given 50 centimeters and 1 plus alpha given for iron, that is 12 into 10 power minus 6 into 80. So now this will be 50 into 1 plus, so 12 into 80 will be 960. 960 into 10 power minus 6 means 0.0096 it is. It will be 0.0096. So finally this will be 50. This will be 50 into 1 plus 0096, and by multiplying them you will get the answer 50.048 centimeters. So this is the final length of iron rod. And when it comes to aluminum rod, for aluminum, it will be the same formula you can use. So here L2 equal to initial length is 100 and 1 plus alpha given 24 into 10 power minus 6 and change in temperature 100 minus 20, that will be 80. So by solving this equation, we will get the answer here 100 point. You can just calculate easily the value 100.192 centimeter. This is the final length for aluminum, and you can write here that what is the total initial length. Total length of composite rod before heating. Before heating, how much it will be? 100 plus 50, both are given, 150 centimeters. And total length after heating, if you calculate, total length after heating, how much it will be? 50.048 plus 50.192. By combining these two values, you will get 150.24 centimeters. This is the total length after heating. But you have to finally find out the alpha value for the composite system. Alpha is nothing but change in length by initial length into delta theta. And change in length for the whole composite rod is initial length 150 and final length 150.24. The change in length will be 0.24 centimeters. By initial length is 150 for the whole composite rod, and 80 is the change in temperature. If we just solve this, you will get the answer here that 2 into 10 power minus 5 per degree Celsius. So finally the answer is 2 into 10 power minus 5 per degree Celsius. Okay, so this is the solution answer for the 9th question. And now next question is 10th one. Question number 10 now. A brass rod, 10th question. This question you have to read now. This one. A brass rod and lead rod, each 80 centimeters long, at 0 degrees Celsius, each 80 centimeters long. That means both the rods are, two rods are given. Both are having the length 80 centimeters at 0 degrees Celsius. But of course, both are not made with same material. One is made with brass and other with lead. Are clamped together at one end. That means for both of them, one end is completely fixed there with the free ends coinciding, and other free ends, other sides, other ends of the two rods will coincide. And find the separation of free ends of the rod if the system is placed in a steam bath. Steam bath in the sense the temperature reaches 100 degrees Celsius. At 0 degrees Celsius, their lengths are given 80 centimeters, and for both of them, one ends are joined, other free ends are coinciding. That means side by side, both the rods are placed there, and of course, one end of both the rods will be fixed there. Now, alpha for brass given, alpha for lead given. So based on that, we have to solve the problem now. And let me draw the diagram first here. So how the rods were placed. The rods are taken like this. And of course, one end is completely fixed here, and these two ends are free to expand here. So in that particular case, initial length given, initial temperature given, final temperature given, alpha values are given, and finally they are asking there's a difference between the distance between the free ends only. Okay, now First of all, I will calculate for L, final length of brass. And what is the initial length of brass? For both of them 80 only, into 1 plus, and alpha is given, for brass alpha is given 18 into 10 power minus 6 into change in temperature. Initial given 0 and final given 100. So the change in temperature is 100. Now, by solving this equation, you will get the answer 80.144 centimeters. The same value if you calculate for lead. So final length is initial length into 1 plus, and alpha for lead given 28 into 10 power minus 6 into delta T, that is 100. And finally it will be 80 into, this value will give the answer 80.224 centimeters. Okay, then they are asking the distance between the two. It expands with the length, and the final length of the first one is 80.144 and the final length of the second one is 80.224. Therefore, the distance between these two, so L, which will be more? Lead is more. L lead minus L brass. So the value is, the difference between the two values is 0.08. 0.08 centimeters, and which is equal to 0.8 millimeters. So this is the answer for the question, given question. The distance between the three ends of brass and lead only. Okay. Now I will go to the question number 11. See the question number 11. The coefficient of apparent expansion of liquid in copper vessel is C. It is given coefficient of apparent expansion of liquid in copper vessel is C. In silver vessel is S. In both the cases, apparent expansion values are given. The coefficient of volume expansion of copper is gamma C. And what is the coefficient of linear expansion of silver? That means here two type of materials were taken to heat some particular liquid. Okay. Now, first of all, the first type of vessel is copper vessel. In case of copper vessel, gamma apparent for copper is taken C, and for copper the gamma S, that means a coefficient of expansion for the solid. So that is given gamma C. And what is the real expansion of liquid then? Real expansion is nothing but apparent expansion plus expansion of solid. So this will be C plus gamma C. And for the second one, this is for copper. And the second one is silver. For silver, the apparent expansion given S, and gamma value we don't know, which you have to calculate. Of course, let me consider this is gamma S. You have to calculate this, or you can write some constant K or something else also. And then again the liquid expansion gamma R is equal to S plus gamma S. So in both the cases we are using the same liquid. That means the liquid expansion, for the liquid the real expansion is always same. Even you can put in whatever the type of material, whatever the type of container, so that gamma real is same in both cases. So just by equating them in both cases, C plus gamma C equal to S plus gamma S. Here you have to find out gamma S na. Gamma S is equal to C plus gamma C minus S. This is the value for gamma S. That means coefficient of volume expansion for silver. But in the question clearly you can see that they are not asking volume expansion. They are asking coefficient of linear expansion. Coefficient of linear expansion means gamma s can be written as 3 alpha s. Gamma equal 3 alpha na, for solid. So it will be C plus gamma C minus S, and finally the answer for alpha S is equal to C plus gamma C minus S by 3. So this is the formula they are asking for alpha S. Okay, so this is the solution for question number 11. And now come to the question number 12 only. Question number 12. A uniform solid brass sphere is rotating with angular speed omega naught about a diameter. Some solid sphere is given which is rotating about its diameter. If its temperature is now increased by 100 degrees Celsius, the change in temperature was given 100 degrees Celsius. What will be its new angular speed? When temperature increases, what will happen for the solid sphere? So definitely when temperature increases, the solid will expand and the radius will increase. Whenever the radius increases, what will happen to angular speed they are asking? Okay, so in this particular case, so of course that particular chapter related to angular velocities, moment of inertia, that chapter was not completed, but even then I will just give you some equation related to that. So when any particular sphere or any particular object, while it is rotating by its own, so then by its own in the sense because of mutual gravitational forces like that or anything else, in such mutual forces, if anything is rotating, then you have a relation that I1 omega 1 equal to I2 omega 2. I means that is moment of inertia and omega means that is angular velocity. So in this particular case, there are some moment of inertia formulas, but the simple equation only I will write here. So moment of inertia for anything, the moment of inertia formula we can write it as m k square omega 1. Of course, mass remains same, but k value will change, equal to m k2 square omega 2. This is the formula according to moment of inertia. But of course, m is same. Even on heating, m remains same. So m will get cancelled. Finally, you will have k1 square omega 1 equal to k2 square omega 2. Where k1 and k2 represent lengths only. K1 represent always the length value only. So what will happen when it is heated? So definitely the radius part or length part, only linear expansion you have to consider. That will increase. So according to that, initial length I consider R, of course it is square, omega 1, in place of omega 1 they have given omega naught, and the final length K2. The final length is given by initial length into 1 plus alpha delta theta. Of course, K2 square is there now, you can write like this, into omega 2. Now, so R square omega naught equal to R square into, so as in the previous question, if we just consider the approximation, then it will be 1 plus 2 alpha delta theta into omega 2. R square and R square will get cancelled, and then omega 2 will be omega naught by 1 plus 2 alpha delta theta, where alpha value and delta theta value were given. So omega naught by 1 plus 2 into alpha. Alpha value is given 2 into 10 power minus 3. So then 2 into 10 power minus 3 will be 4 into 10 power minus 3 into delta theta is 100. And finally this will be omega naught by, so this will be 0. alpha value is given 2 into 10 power minus 5 given, not minus 3. It is 10 power minus 5. Okay, then 10 power minus 5 into 100 will be 10 power minus 3. 4 into 10 power minus 3, that will be 0.004. And finally the answer is omega 2 equal to omega naught by 1.004. By calculating this, exactly we'll get the value 0.996. That is the value for 1 by 1.004 into omega naught. And finally omega 2 is equal to 0.996 omega naught is the answer. Okay. Next. Question number 13. Question number 13. The absolute coefficient of expansion of a liquid is 7 times that the volume coefficient of expansion of the vessel. Okay, absolute expansion means real expansion. It is given 7 times that the volume coefficient of expansion of the vessel. Then find the ratio of absolute and apparent expansion of liquid. In the question it is given the real expansion value gamma real is equal to 7 times of expansion of solid given, the container's expansion, that means gamma solid. So gamma real equal to 7 into gamma solid. And then how can you calculate gamma apparent? Gamma real is nothing but gamma apparent plus gamma s actually. So if you just substitute the first equation in the second equation, in place of gamma r you can write 7 gamma s equal to gamma a plus gamma s. And finally gamma a can be written as 7 gamma s minus gamma s will be 6 gamma s. So apparent expansion is given is 6 gamma s and real expansion is given 7 gamma s. And they are asking here the question, the ratio of absolute, that is real expansion by apparent expansion. So what will be the real expansion? 7 gamma s by apparent expansion is 6 gamma s. Here gamma s and gamma s will get cancelled, and finally the value you will have only 7 by x. So finally the ratio of absolute expansion to the apparent expansion is 7 by 6. So this is the solution for question number 13. And now next one, 14th question. Question number 14. A solid whose volume does not change with temperature floats in a liquid. A solid was considered. So it was given that its volume does not change with temperature. It is just floating in a liquid. For 2 different temperatures T1 and T2 of the liquid, 2 different temperatures were taken. 2 different cases were considered. For fractions F1 and F2 of the volume, fractions F1 and F2 of the volume of the solid remain submerged in the liquid. Okay. So at 2 different temperatures, how much amount of solid was submerged were given in 2 different cases. The fractions were given F1 and F2. Find the coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid. Find the coefficient of volume expansion of the liquid. Just they are asking to calculate volume expansion of the liquid here. So first of all, this fraction F1, the fractions F1 and F2 indicate that the amount of volume submerged in the liquid, and that much amount of how much amount of volume is submerged in liquid, the same amount of water will be expelled out. Okay, in that particular case the F1 ultimately represent only the final value. Final volume you can write here. So final volume is F1 in the first case. You can just write here F1 in the first case. So what you can write for F1? Initial volume into 1 plus gamma T1. Volume expansion only, na? One plus gamma T1. And F2 is nothing but in second case 1 plus gamma. What is the other change in temperature? T2. Now you have to finally calculate the gamma value, so that I will just take the ratio of the first two equations. By taking ratio, V0 and V0 will get cancelled. Only you will have 1 plus gamma T1 by 1 plus gamma T2. By taking cross multiplication here, F1 into 1 F1 plus F1 gamma T2 equal to, on the other side, F2 into 1 F2 plus F2 into gamma T1, F2 gamma T1. And finally you have to find out the value of gamma only, na? So the terms related to gamma, you have to take one side, maybe left side. So F1 gamma T1 minus F2 gamma, so F1 gamma T2 it is, and F2 gamma T1 is equal to F2 minus F1. Now if gamma is taken common, and F1 T2 minus F2 T1 is equal to F2 minus F1, and finally gamma value will be F2 minus F1 by F1 T2 minus F2 T1. This is the final answer for gamma. Okay, this is the solution for the question number 14. Okay. Here in this particular question, the fraction of the volume of solid remains submerged in liquid. That just represents the final volume here. The fraction represents the final volume. Next, question number 15. A clock with a metal pendulum beating seconds keeps correct time at 0 degrees Celsius. A metal pendulum is taken that was initially taken at 0 degrees Celsius. If it loses 12.5 seconds a day at 25 degrees Celsius, it was actually calibrated to operate at 0 degrees Celsius. But if it is operated at 25 degrees Celsius, when temperature increases, the clock loses some time, and then the information was given, different temperatures and loss of time, everything was given. Find the coefficient of linear expansion of metal pendulum. So in case of simple pendulum, so already we just discussed the same application. According to that, we have a relation here that in case of simple pendulum, T is nothing but T is directly proportional to root L. Why? Because time period of simple pendulum is 2 pi root over L by G. Na? So that means in percentage errors, if you write delta T by T into 100 is nothing but half into delta L by L into 100. And the 100 and 100 will get cancelled on both sides. And half into, in place of delta L by L, according to the formula, you can write alpha delta theta. It is for delta T by T. So delta T means loss of time. How much loss of time is there? It was given 12.5 seconds it was lost by the whole time. For how much time it lost? It lost 12.5 seconds in a day. In a day means for one particular day, there is 86,400 seconds. equal to half into alpha into delta theta, change in temperature. The initial temperature was given 0 and final temperature is 25. So that the change in temperature is 25. Okay, now by solving this, you will get here alpha is equal to 1 by 86,400, and which gives the final, sorry, that is the final answer per degree Celsius. Alpha is 1 by 86,400 per degree Celsius. This is the answer for 15th question. Okay. Thank you.